Welcome to another inspiring episode of Stories Untold. In this week's episode, we focus on the ups, the downs, and the future of entrepreneurship post-COVID-19. Some are still healing from emotional and financial scars, while others are adapting to new skills of surviving in business. Mentorship and support for small businesses is also intensifying.
As you have heard already, honorable members, we have already confirmed the first case that has tested positive for the coronavirus or COVID-19 in South Africa.
As COVID-19 began its quiet but relentless spread across South Africa, the nation was thrust into an unprecedented state of uncertainty and fear. The first whispers of the virus turned into a deafening reality as lockdowns confined families to their homes, shattering the fabric of daily life. The vibrant streets fell silent, and the laughter of children was replaced by the haunting echoes of solitude. For many, the weight of isolation bore down heavily, amplifying anxiety and despair. The mental health toll was profound. Countless individuals grappled with loneliness, grief for lost loved ones, and the anxiety of an uncertain future. Communities once united by shared experiences now felt fragmented as the invisible threat wove a tapestry of trauma that would linger long after the initial crises had passed. The toll of COVID-19 in South Africa is a haunting reminder of the fragility of life. As of now, over 105,000 lives have been lost to this relentless virus, each statistic representing a cherished individual, parents, siblings, friends, whose absence has left an irreplaceable void.
In 2020, in December, I lost my late husband, and then I decided the following year in Jan that maybe this is the right time to be doing this foundation, because I just felt at the time I was traumatized. Never lost a husband, never experienced it, didn't know what I was supposed to do. The basics, of light bulbs, stupid little things. And then all of a sudden I had to be a mom, a dad at the same time. And then because I had the non-profit company, I just went and changed the name. And you'll see what the registration number is registered in 2010. So I just changed the name to J. Dudley Foundation, which is his name. And I thought it was befitting to actually help people that have gone through trauma. And also I think the whole world had been traumatized because of COVID, because we've never had COVID before and everybody was in a shock. So I thought trauma was the COVID had traumatized us, the death had traumatized me, and I think just living was just difficult, and it shouldn't be, and that was traumatic.
Nonhlanhla used this pain as a small beacon of hope to assist others who were struggling with their loss.
Every time I met somebody, and then somebody would say, "Can I introduce you to somebody who's lost a husband?" And there were just so many of us. And I thought, but maybe we can all benefit from all of this, because we're already doing it. We're already talking to each other. So COVID was just traumatic at the time, and nobody understood, nobody knew what we were doing, and we were all just assuming we're doing the right things. And that was traumatic, because here we are going ahead. We're not sure what we're doing is right, but we're still carrying on and we're still waking up. And at some point you ask yourself, but what are we doing? So that in itself is traumatic. And here we are parents and trying to raise kids. We don't even know what we're doing. We don't even know if it's going to come back.
The J. Dudley Foundation is helping many who have struggled to move on, even as the world has seemingly forgotten about the trauma of just a few years ago. They are quietly helping by reaching out to those in need and connecting them to relevant mental health specialists. As we celebrated World Mental Health Day on the 10th of October, let us not forget to seek help when we are struggling.
The Stories Untold team explored the dusty streets of East Rand and stumbled upon Hungover, an eatery that specializes in traditional cuisine, founded by Thando Ngwenya.
I've always had a dream of owning a business, you know. The company I was working for, they gave us shares, money for shares, lots of money. I was gonna buy a GTI and be that nice guy on the road, you know. The day I went to buy the car, I got there. I'm thinking, must I buy this car? 250,000 cash? No, man. Then I changed my mind. I bought myself a bakkie, went into the ice business, started selling ice. Then I had a back problem. Half of the time you bending, you understand? Half of the time you're selling ice. So you can imagine the back. And I was still working at the time. It was a side thing. Then I went to butchery. I'm still trying to find the right thing to do. Everything went well, COVID came, it didn't work out again. Then 2 years ago I decided, you know what, I'm gonna resign again, I'm gonna go full time, and I'm gonna make it work. And I started this business. I started selling chips, Nespresso chips. Every time I go visit there, my brother Nhlanhla always buys us the peri-peri chips with a nice ration, with a nice, we call it little doll. Then I decided, okay, let me sell the chips. People never came. Then Mandla said, you know what, sell mokhod. Then we started selling mokhod. People started coming in. The momentum we gained momentum. Then we added Nhlogo. Then we added Manina. Then we started adding now. People started coming on Sunday. Then it became a tradition. On Saturday mornings we go to Hungover. On Sunday mornings we go to Hungover. We go chill there for a day, we relax.
Nomcebo Ndima shared what her roles and duties are as an employee at Hungover.
Yiwo vela ama-chips nje, sikizi ngama-chips lana. Uthini impela siphethe ama-chips amnandi nje la, Boxburg kuyaziwa. Ukuthi ngama-chips, uma ufuna nje chips eli-right, elimnandi, uzwakala ngala iHungover uzophuma ushaka. Unomcebo wenza sure ukuthi by the time uvula igate yonke into ezodingwa ama-customer isuke isi-right ngaleso sikhathi. Ama-customer uma ifike athole konke lokhu akudingayo kukhona ku-right, kungabi bikho okushodayo. Ama-customer wethu senze sure ukuthi aphatheka kahle yonke into i-right by the time afika ama-customer. Siyapheka la ekhaya ukudla kusuke sekuphekiwe sekuvuthiwe seku-right. Ama-chips senza sure ukuthi suke sesiwenzile, ama-fish ethu aphumile efriji a-right adifrostile. Ukudla konke sidayisayo kusuke sekuvuthiwe ngaleso sikhathi. Siklinile ku-right, ama-customer waphatheka. Umuntu onomoya phansi okwazi uku-understanda, umuntu nje o-right.
Patriots who also view Hungover as the office away from the office shared their thoughts on the food and the owner.
I've known Thando for 2 years and I've known him through the establishment. It was, well, the story actually starts when it was a very late night actually that I had. And then the next morning, obviously looking for something spicy, you know, something to just sort of wake you up. So I remember seeing a pamphlet on one of the groups at the complex that I stayed in at that time. And I was like, man, this is perfect. So I came through the store, had my peri-peri chips and Russian, and then struck a conversation with them. And from there on, it's been just a continuous journey.
I met Thando 2016. He had a chisanyama down the road. And then it didn't work out. He tried another one in Davidton. It didn't work out. And then post-COVID, he opened this one. I remember when it started, if you look at this place now, it has transformed from where it was just a Zozo, but now if you look at it, it has transformed to something big.
So today we've ordered ribs, peri-peri chips with wings, ice bun and Russian, but my favorite is the peri-peri chips, you know, because of the bold and tangy taste that you get, you know, and that kick that you get on your palate.
My favorite meal is fried meat. Okay, I'm a carnivore. I eat meat every day. I'm a carnivore, yes, so it's a fried meat, more especially beef.
He's a very passionate person. executes whatever he put his mind to. And he's got a side of him that actually cares about people. He doesn't really show it much, but he actually does. And he's very determined, very business-minded. He's got a lot of ideas that's actually executing.
Tando is a winner. Someone who doesn't give up. He's a man of action. He's not easily discouraged. Yeah, when he starts something, he'll make sure that he goes with it. When he plans something, he'll make sure that he executes.
The entrepreneur also has philanthropy in his streak. Pastor Samuel Mchunu and his wife Mandisa Mchunu are witnesses to this testament.
We're here to receive blankets, and which are actually a gift of a drive that we're doing currently. We're collecting blankets, but I actually think it's an initiative that our men's ministry is doing.
The owner, Utando, was willing to donate to us, so we're here to receive those blankets today. We know him because we know the place. It's a beautiful restaurant,
with
nice hangout
food.
with good food. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fairly new, about 2 years in operation, but they've grown so quickly. The problem with me is anything with a braai.
You love meat. You love meat. So.
Yeah, so braai meat and pap is my thing.
From being a believer and understanding what it means to grow something from the ground up, I think my biggest encouragement would be, I love already what he's doing. The fact that we're here to receive from him, it means that he's not only in the community just to take from it, but he's also giving back. So my biggest thing would be to say he just needs to keep on doing it, and the more he gives, it's going to keep on coming back to him in 1,000-fold.
Seven years into business, the Oak Tree's vision has not changed a bit.
I started Oak Tree People Solutions in 2017, but nothing prepared me for the journey of entrepreneurship. All my experience in corporate as a C-suite executive took me right back to being in grade 1 as an entrepreneur. It was lonely. God, it was so lonely. It was tough, many rejections, lots of rejections, lots of proposals sent out that you don't get a go-ahead on. You wonder why, what you're doing wrong, how can you do this right, what's going to happen if this business doesn't work, should I leave it, how do I go forward? And what kept me going and what gave me the courage was my purpose, and my purpose was about I can make a difference to women in business, to entrepreneurs in business, by helping them grow themselves and grow their business.
This team believes that they are making a huge impact in the economy of South Africa by mentoring and guiding SMEs.
I'm excited to be talking to you today about the Ignite Hub and Academy. So what we are about is an ecosystem of SMEs, because we all know if we are going to change this economy, build businesses and grow the economy, we need small businesses to play their part. But small businesses need a lot of support. So what we are about is build an ecosystem where all the role players come into supporting small business. So we've come up with this solution, a solution that we think anyone serious about growing their business, which we know they've put their hearts into it, right? You put all your investment, some people put all their retirement money into this. So it's important that it is indeed successful. So we've built an instrument, we've built a support system in which we want business people to thrive, small business people to thrive.
They host an annual summit where SMEs get an opportunity to learn from industry players, get insightful information from funders, and present their business for prizes and awards.
believe it's about time we entrepreneurs insisted on having DTI headed by somebody who has burnt her or his fingers in business and learned something. Better still, somebody who has charred his body, like, charred his body, not burnt fingers, the entire body charred. In other words, steep herself in business in order to be able to head up that ministry. Not master a few slogans and master a few dance moves called toi toi. And you say you can actually head up a ministry that is going to cultivate and nourish entrepreneurship. This is actually done elsewhere, like in Japan. You cannot head up that ministry unless you have actually been a business person yourself.
During this summit, the SMEs are accorded an opportunity to ask questions and engage with the roundtable panelists.
While you were talking, I had this idea that I should have a funding ready folder, with all the documents needed for funding should I ever get asked for it. Obviously, each institution will have their own different documents they'll ask for, but could you give me a list of the basic documents to have in such a folder?
I got an opportunity last year to apply for a SETA. So the problem is we don't get the feedback. Where do we lack? So that when the next opportunity comes, so that we apply again. So we need a feedback. Fix 1 and 2 and 3, so that next time when I apply, I get everything correct.
We got 482 applications, right? And only 6 of them we could process, right? No, we're still processing, but I'm just saying from the initial lot, from the first attempt, when you go in and you sift, you realize that only 6 are ready and they have all the required information for one to be able to process. The rest, we have to write back to the applicants and say, you didn't even include your ID. I mean, there are things that if you're a serious business person, you cannot, if there are requirements, like your ID, company documents, if you're buying an existing establishment, you cannot say you're applying for funding and don't even have an offer to purchase inside what is required. So you realize that actually, it's not that funding is not there, I agree. Funding is there. It is the fact that when the economy sneezes, SMMEs are the ones who go to ICU. That is factual, right? So you find that you have funded someone, everything was good, everything was green, and then something changes in the economy which is beyond their control, and they realize that actually they are not able to afford.
I've been educating myself using Instagram and stuff like that. I'm preparing, and then I get to the saddest part. I'm like, I texted on Sharpamo because my employer used to do all of those things for me without even me knowing it.
Please do not use Instagram for advice on tax, especially. Tax, the more you get into it, the more you realize that tax is really born from tax law, tax legislation. And I present a lot on tax matters. There's always something to present on with regards to tax. And I always say to the attendees, don't even use my slides to rely on, because you need to go back to the legislation. You need to read it as the legislation reads. And really the best way to digest what is in the legislation, like I mentioned earlier, is make use of the SARS website.
Allow your people to have ideas, to be creative, to make the business succeed. So I'm a passionate believer that we don't just build businesses, we build people. And it's those people that build our businesses.
Another highlight of the summit is when the SMEs are given the platform to share their business journey with their peers.
So I started a company called Boycott Inc. It is a seed stage startup in tech. So we built an all-in-one platform where students can, enhance their student experience. So basically, we have a student marketplace where students can buy and sell from each other. There's online courses, there's also resources.
And I was not going to be doing entrepreneurship if I was
appreciated as an innovator in corporate. I feel like there's that limitation. I love corporate, and I think I can even still go back, not for money, but I love solving problems. Yeah. I feel like there was a missing appreciation for the craving I have for solving the problem at the time. And that's what drove me to step outside. And I was aware that it's a deep sea if you don't know how to swim. But it's not about that. You trust your own wings when you go in.
And our last winner of the day is Mafikosa! Well done, Mama!
We're hoping that small businesses have learned a thing or two. COVID-19 has taught all of us to think out of the box. Thank you for continuing to share all your inspiring stories with us.